Here we go. It says we're good. All right, everybody. Hello. It is late. We are a little bit loopy. However, there is no better time to be making 53-man roster predictions at midnight. Would you say so, Ryan?
We're talking 53 after midnight.
53 after midnight.
Especially when you're loopy. That always usually helps.
Yes, we're a little delirious. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not running on any supplemental caffeine whatsoever.
Me neither. Well, I did have 2 mellow yellows tonight. Not healthy, but
Is there caffeine in Mellow Yellow?
yeah.
That's soda, right?
A significant amount, I would say. Yes, it is.
All right. Well, I don't know a lot about Mellow Yellow. It's Ryan's favorite. Okay, so we've got the whiteboard here. This is how it's going to work. You can't see it. Now you can see it. All right, that's the back of the whiteboard. I'm going to hold it, and Ryan is going to write his projections, and then I am going to go over what he writes.
And tell me what I did wrong.
No, we will disagree on some things. So I did my best not to look at what you did, because
Kind
no,
of.
don't.
You were asking some questions there in the second half, and I was too. We were agonizing over this.
It's hard, I think, and something I actually recommend you all do if you're like us and you're crazy right now, is go over to PackersNews.com. Maybe just like open it in a different tab so you don't go away from Facebook right now. But go open Packers News in another tab and do the 53-man roster projection. You can do it yourself, be armchair GM. A lot of fun, but also very stressful. Like, underrated how stressful that is.
It's a lot of fun in a very football nerd way, which I kind of dig. So yeah, that's my jam.
Yes. Okay. So we're gonna pause on your questions right now over on Facebook. I will say hello for just a second. And yeah, we're giving it a go, making sure. Oh, we're good. Here we go. I see you guys. Hello. Yes, Stacy, it is late. You're right.
Very late.
Thanks
for staying up.
Oh, Tao is from Singapore. Wow. Hello.
It's probably not late in Singapore. I have no idea what time it is. Maybe you can tell us. But
Yeah, what time is it in Singapore? Let us know. Okay. All right, so listen, all everybody wants to know about what exactly is going on here with the roster. So they're going to start cutting guys maybe even as early as tomorrow, probably as early as tomorrow. But Saturday at 3 p.m. Central is when the roster has to be finalized and cut down to 53 men. So with that, Ryan, let's see what is the best way to do this. Let's get it right here. And I'll hold it right up here.
the whiteboard.
I will hold it right up here, and then I will put the mic in front of your face.
You didn't write Ryan's 53, but this is my 53 if you needed to have help there. So, all right, we're going to say QB, right? And we're going to start with the obvious. I don't even need to write his number, but for logistics, we will. We'll go 12 here. It's a little small. You might not be able to see it. The question is obviously, do they keep 2? Do they keep 3? Who do they keep? Do they keep none? Do they pick someone up on waiver claim? Hello, Brian Hoyer, maybe. I think that Tim Boyle showed enough to be QB2. We'll get the official word maybe tomorrow, maybe after final cuts here in the next couple days. But I think Tim Boyle here is QB2. To me, the question, do they move on from Deshaun Kaiser? Tim Boyle was, about 59% passing. The one issue that he has is he's still a little erratic on the preseason 4 exhibitions. 356 yards, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. He played clean, 112 passer rating. Solid stat line. I mean, that 59% completion percentage still needs to be better. He only averaged about 6.2 yards per pass, too, which is right around league average. But overall, I mean, pretty solid. Deshaun Kaiser, whatever. I can't remember off the top of my head what his passer rating was. It was nowhere near triple digits, though. So,
no.
2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Threw another one tonight, which might have been more on Jamon Moore. I'd have to look at the replay because it looked like he might have stopped the route.
It was a little on both.
But anyway, my thing is this. It comes down to it's hard for me to see them moving on from Deshaun Kaiser considering 2 things. One, Tim Boyle is still erratic. And two, and not to mention, Deshaun Kaiser's athleticism. There was a play tonight early, I think it was the first possession, third down. Tim Boyle stood in the pocket, tried to escape, pick up the first down, wasn't able to. That's the type of play that with Deshaun Kaiser's athleticism, he might move the chains on that play. So he clearly has an athletic advantage. The other fact that they traded a former first round pick, Demarius Randall, for him just last year. I mean, it just seems like it's a little early to move on from him when Tim Boyle hasn't completely locked it down. So I will put 9 on the 53. They keep 3 quarterbacks. Running backs where it gets really interesting, and 33, obviously, 30, that's your top 2. The question, it was just, keep this in mind, it was just 2 years ago, 2017, when they kept 5 running backs out of camp. The 3 guys they drafted that year being Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, Devontae Mays, and Ty Montgomery. And then they kept the fullback and Aaron Rakowski. To me, running back has been probably the hardest position to dissect all month. It's been a position that, the Packers sure seem like they're doing everything that you'd expect a team to do that if they're keeping a guy in Trey Carson. He's played a ton. The thing that gets me is, one, he has practice squad eligibility. I think he'd get through. 2, in my time on the beat, we've seen John Crockett, we've seen Rajon Neal have better preseasons than Trey Carson has had this year and not make the team. With that said, I do think in the passing game as a blocker, which is important with this offense with 12, and even as a receiver, although Dexter Williams did have a nice play in the screen tonight for 21 yards, I think that we'll put him on the 53. Dexter Williams, I don't see them moving on from his talent. He's a more talented runner, and Brian Gutekunst alluded to the talent that he has this week. When he has the ball in his hands, we saw it in flashes tonight. When he has the ball in his hands, he's a playmaker. He's got a lot to learn. The other thing with Dexter Williams, he played a ton of special teams tonight. A ton of special teams. So there's some value there from a special team standpoint. And let's face it, your third or fourth running back, he's a special teamer. He's got to play special teams, and Dexter Williams did. So I'm gonna go with 5 running backs, which seems a bit much, but they just did it 2 years ago. So
brief pause. So I'm gonna hand you the mic, and I'm gonna write for you because my arms are tired, and I think that'll work better.
Got you.
So you can control them.
All right, so receiver, obviously 17. Don't even need to say his name. 81. Drama Allison, slot receiver, exclusively slot. Then it gets a little more interesting. I mean, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, probably your third receiver.
God.
He's doing all right there?
Yeah, we're great.
Jake Kumro's making the team. He's a lock. Equinemius St. Brown, I spoke with him tonight in the locker room. Said he felt fortunate not to need surgery. He was wheeling around on a car, on one of those, what do you call them, the cart things?
Scooter.
A scooter. There you go. It is late. He had a scooter, but he said 4 to 8 weeks is what he said. So that's really more like 2 to 6 weeks. Could be on IR, could be designated for return. If he is, though, they have to put him on the 53. So he goes on the 53, potentially going on IR a day later. And then I think Trevor Davis. That's where I'm cutting it off. I'm keeping 6 receivers. Alan Lazard injured tonight, wasn't able to play, wasn't able to finish his preseason. That fourth preseason for bubble guys is huge. And then Darius Shepard, man, you want to talk about almost having a perfect camp up until like your literally final play with the fumble recovery, and it stung. He was thinking about it after the game when I spoke with him. Bottom line, Darius Shepard, 5'10", runs a 4.6, was a tryout guy. I think they're getting him through to the practice squad. I think they'll get Lazard through the practice squad too. I think Lazard's more likely to be claimed than is Darius Shepard, but I could see. I think it's very plausible that both guys get through to the practice squad. So they keep 6 receivers. We're going to go with the 4 tight ends. Jimmy Graham, Robert Tonyan, Jay Sternberger, who caught a touchdown tonight. back from the concussion, caught a touchdown, got a Lambeau leap, kind of got those strobing lights going on, which were something. And then the blocking tight end, Mercedes Lewis. They're an outside the box idea, which is obviously too outside the box for me to predict it because I'm putting him on my 53. But if they do need to put an Equanimeous St. Brown on IR and designate him to return, basically they put him on the 53 and a day later put him on IR. Maybe they release out of camp Mercedes Lewis and then a day later put him on the 53 to fill the EQ spot, because Mercedes Lewis, they gave him $500,000. He's got a role in this offense. He's not going to get picked up if they release him. He's a blocking tight end purely at 35 years old. But, again, I have him making the team. It's just a little too outside the box for me to predict. Offensive line, there's a lot of numbers coming for offensive line in there. So you got Bakhtiari. Lane Taylor tonight proclaimed, announced as the starting left guard for week 1. I don't think that's much of a surprise. Elton Jenkins is a rookie, and he's a guy that they really wanted to win the job. They want him to play sooner than later. But Lane Taylor, Matt LaFleur mentioned, he's a commodity that they're comfortable with. He's a veteran. He's played a lot of football. He's an NFL guard, clearly. So, obviously, he's making the 53 as a starting left guard.
62, right?
65. But 62 is making the team, too. I got Lucas Patrick.
Right.
I got Lucas Patrick making the team. That's a backup. We'll keep going with the starting offensive line. Corey Lindsley, I've got him making the team. Obviously, Billy Turner, Brian Bulaga. Now to the backup, the less obvious ones. Lucas Patrick I got Justin McCray. Those guys have been around the last couple of years. They're decent for depth on the interior. Both guys have snapped a lot. They can play center. They can play guard. If Brian Bulaga gets injured and they need to kick out Billy Turner to right tackle, you can play a Lucas Patrick or a Justin McCray at guard and have that flexibility there. So I think they go with both. And lastly, I got Alex Light as the third tackle. Did not play tonight. That's how comfortable and confident they were with Alex Light. Did not even suit up tonight. A healthy scratch. So yeah, that's I've got 9 at that position. Let's count to make sure. What is that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh no, 8. Who did I miss?
Got
Elton Jenkins, the rookie.
Oh,
Duh.
Yes. What?
Speaking, I mentioned him. I kind of glossed over 74. Elton Jenkins, the rookie. Basically your top backup on the interior, whereas Alex Light's the third tackle. Your top interior backup is Elton Jenkins. All right, so moving over to the defensive side. Okay. Defensive line's fairly easy to predict. Your top 3 are lock solid in Kenny Clark, Dean Lowry, who got the extension before camp, Montravius Adams.
I'm going to start using this negative space over here.
There you go. 94, not 93. 93 got traded.
Oh, no.
Reggie Gilbert.
Yikes. Sorry, Reggie.
He's in Tennessee now. Kingsley Kiki. I'm going to have so much trouble with that. He's making the 53, and eventually I'm going to learn that it's Kingsley Kiki and not Kiki Kingsley. 96. And then we're going to go with 95, Tyler Lancaster. Those are your 5. I think, Fidal Brown, I thought 98 had a chance to make the team, but he missed half a camp with an injury, a calf injury. Really unfortunate for him. They liked him when they claimed him from Oakland last year. Other than that, I mean, it's kind of they run with this group. To me, the hardest position to predict right now. I have no idea what's going on with inside linebacker. She got it. So they have Blake Martinez. That's the good news because he's their top guy, and he's the guy that they absolutely need to have. After that, what do they have? I don't know. I mean, Oren Burks looked like he was going to be a significant role in this defense. He got hurt. I don't know that he's going to go to IR. I think that probably Equanimeous St. Brown's more likely to go to IR than Oren Burks, but he could. And so, but either way, he's got to make the 53 because he's going to return if he does go to IR. So he 42. He looked good. Got hurt. Curtis Bolton was going to make the team. 40, got hurt. Sure looks like he's not going to now. Really unfortunate timing for him. I've got Ty Summers, had the pick 6 tonight, 44. I got him making the team. But he's really a special teamer right now. I mean, when you look at it, that's a special teams guy. Oren Burks is hurt. Blake Martinez can play, but who else? I think there's a really solid chance that they're going to claim an inside linebacker. 54, James Crawford. He didn't return after leaving the game tonight. We don't know how significant of an injury that is. He made the team on special teams last year, on his special teams aptitude, and not for defense last year. So, not really a defensive first guy anyway. I've got them on the initial 53. Don't freak out. I've got them keeping 3 inside linebackers, which really is 1 because, like I said, Ty Summers is a special teamer and Oren Burks is hurt, so really it's 1. It's Blake Martinez, but I gotta think they're going to claim somebody. When they do, where does that number? Where do they make a move there? Maybe 5 running backs. Maybe they try to put Trey Carson or Dexter Williams through the practice squad. They're going to want both of those guys to be around. The benefit of delaying a day is that you're more likely, in theory, to get them through to a practice squad, and I think both of those guys are pretty likely anyway. You're more likely, given the fact that the first wave has kind of had 24 hours to settle down. Outside linebacker, I've got him keeping 5. Obviously, the Smiths, 55-91. Rashawn Gary. And then 4th, Fackrell. Those are your top 4. It is possible, I think, 51. It is late. It is possible that they cut it off there and they go with 4. The thing to me, though, it's twofold. First of all, Zadarius Smith and Rashawn Gary especially can put their hand in the ground. They can play a good amount of interior defensive line and do those things. So you kind of want to bulk up, especially when they're keeping 3 inside linebackers. You kind of want to bulk up at linebacker and keep your 5, which is kind of the general number. 4 would be a little light. The other thing is that Randy Ramsey, who had an opportunity open for him with Reggie Gilbert being traded to Tennessee, he's a guy that is probably going to need a red shirt. He's a really good athlete. He's got quick twitch, but he's 238 pounds. Really undersized for that edge position. Kind of needs to gain 15 to 20 pounds, but he can run, and like I said, he's a good athlete. He's a special teams guy. There's value on even the 46 with the Randy Ramsey. He was on all the special teams tonight. So I've got 56 making the team, and he, we've seen this team just last year with Alex Light basically keep a red shirt and a guy that wasn't ready to play in hopes that he would be, and now he's the 3rd tackle. So. That's a possibility. I think he did enough tonight to earn his spot. Cornerback gets really interesting. Yeah, we are running out of space.
What's interesting? Me bending my wrist in such a way.
That doesn't feel good, does it? So all right. So you have the obvious 20. Who knows if Kevin Keen's going to be healthy enough for week 1, but they certainly hope he is. 23, Jair Alexander, year 2, ready to make a jump. 38, Tramon Williams. 37, Josh Jackson. Those are really your top 4. Tony Brown, one of the biggest movers in camp, 28. 29, Kadar Holman. I think he's making this team. I think that he's certainly got some development to do, but as a 6th cornerback with some special teams ability, his press man technique is pretty solid. And he'll get more comfortable tracking the ball downfield as he does it more. So I've got him. Maybe the most interesting thing all night wasn't even the quarterbacks. It was the fact that they had Chandon Sullivan at safety.
That was interesting.
And to me, I mean, I wonder if they're planning to make him kind of a utility guy defensively, where he's a cornerback, but he can play some safety and he plays special teams. He's played a lot of special teams. So I've got 39 making the team, but we're going to put him as a corner, but he showed tonight he can play safety. I mean, the Packers envision that he can actually take snaps at safety as well, so he could be figured in both. One of the things they do in the secondary, they have safeties and corners alike rotating in the slot a ton in their nickels. So there's a lot of cross-training going on between the two positions, which kind of enables that to happen. Moving on to safety, I've got them keeping only 3, but with the idea that Shannon Sullivan kind of factors as a fourth safety. Your top 2, Adrian Amos, Darnell Savage Jr., 31-26. And then
I'm waiting.
Okay.
I'm waiting with bated breath with what you have to say. Go on.
Raven Green.
Yeah.
I got Raven Green, who's kind of more of a dime linebacker, which actually does help with how thin they are at inside linebacker. I think you're going to see a lot of Raven Green in a dime linebacker 3 safety look in Chicago. Just a hunch, just a guess. But that'd be my guess, and that's it. A Will Redmond could make the team. He's played a lot of special teams. A Natrell Jamerson could make the team. Both those guys actually, speaking of cross training, both those guys played a lot of corner tonight, which was interesting. So yeah, they could make the team, but with Shannon Sullivan being able to play safety, I think of the 3. I think of Shannon Sullivan, Will Redmond, and Natrell Jamerson. Sullivan had the best camp. So. And then finally, usually you just gloss over specialists. You really can't this year because they've got 2 NFL kickers at camp. And when I say NFL kickers, I mean Sam Ficken showed that he can kick in this league. With that said, who knows, maybe when he gets released, if he gets released, maybe the Bears pick him up. I mean, he's got a strong leg. But yeah, I want to stay status quo there. I want to go with Crosby. I want to go with obviously J.K. Scott and Hunter Bradley at punter and snapper to give you 53. So a little long-winded, but hopefully you're able to follow along with much better handwriting from Olivia than myself, I must say. But
it got a little dicey down here, and I had to get creative.
We didn't measure out the whiteboard before we did. We just willy-nilly kind of did it. So. That's what I've got. All right. Poke your holes.
All right. Let's see what we got. I wanted to, here, I'll have you hold this for a second because I dropped the red marker. So I'm going to go get the red marker. Here it is. All right. So we'll go position by position here. And I think I remember what I did exactly. So let's make sure I got it right. But I have it on my phone. Should we also do practice squad, or do you think we should just keep it to 53? Because I did practice squad too. But
we'll leave it up to the audience.
All right. Well, the audience I think is a little sleepy there, so maybe you're watching in bed.
I can imagine.
Maybe not.
I'm a little sleepy too. So
yes. Okay. So I also played it safe, Ryan, and I'm sticking with 3 quarterbacks. I think I agree with you. I think we've seen more improvement from Tim Boyle this preseason than we've seen from Deshaun Kaiser. So with that, I like the order. I'm leaving all 3, though. I agree. I think the pros and cons are there for both of them, I think. I think you can find some good in one and some less good in the other when it comes to certain things. I think Kaiser's athleticism is special, but it remains to be seen if he can really win an NFL game, not just a preseason game. So we will leave it at that. Running backs, I do not have Trey Carson making the team. I have him getting cut. So there is that. I have Dexter Williams making the team, which I think is somewhat of a controversial opinion. I don't know. I feel like I've seen a lot of mocks with Trey Carson making the team over Dexter Williams, but to me, I get Williams is a 6th-round pick. Perhaps he will clear waivers and be practice squad eligible, but I also think that there's a risk that perhaps someone might pick him up and that he's shown enough upside in this offense that I think that they have something to work with Dexter Williams.
Well, Dexter Williams is a more dynamic, a more talented runner, which is the still primary responsibility for running back than Trey Carson. Not as reliable right now, but I don't know if that's a surprise being that Dexter Williams was a 6th-round pick. I mean, how many 6th-round picks come in and are world beaters in their first camp? That doesn't usually happen. Usually late-round guys need some development. I don't hate that. I mean, I'm just kind of trying to predict what they're going to do, and they sure seem to think that they're going to at least initially keep Trey Carson on, but that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. So, to me, perhaps the paranoia of losing Dexter Williams would convince them to not cut him. So, I only have 4 running backs, including Vitale. All right, cool. So, let's move on to wide receiver. So, I'm going to do something that it might make some people happy. It's mostly just to disagree with Ryan. I'm going to add Darius Shepard to the list. I agree with you. I think Alan Lazard has probably a better shot at getting picked up by another team if and when he does get cut. I think he's going to get cut. But I wonder what the current status of his injury does when it plays into those types of decisions. I wonder if that would deter a team. So maybe the Packers would be able to sneak him onto the practice squad. But I think Shepard, despite some stuff tonight, I think he has proved himself, and I think the Packers could use him.
Do you not think that they could sneak Darius Shepard onto the practice squad?
I think that's a fair question. I think that they probably have a better shot at it. Forgetting the injury, Alan Lazard's injury aside, I think my brain is starting to fry out here, but I think that they could probably get him on fine, unless someone's really been doing their homework. I don't know. The Bears helicopter. It might have been the Bears.
The Bears helicopter. That's right.
All right.
Cannot forget.
Yes, tight ends. I've got this. This is exactly what I have. Offensive line. Do I have anything different from you? I don't think I do.
Really? We got the same offensive line.
I think I had 9 as well, and I think it was those same 9. Let's see what we got. Let's just double check here. I've got Turner, Taylor, Jenkins, McCray, Patrick, Lindsley, Bakhtiari, Balaga, and Light. So that's 9. Yep. I've got that. All right, so that's the offense. Cool. Let's move on. All right. I have the same defensive line as you. I cut Fidel Brown. Inside linebacker, I also have James Crawford making the team, but I guess I kind of made that decision before he got hurt. So
yeah, it's tough.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. So we'll find out. That could be a no-no.
So you have 4 there.
I have 4 there. Red marker is less good.
I feel a lot better having 4 there than 3. 3 is undermanned. I guess my prediction, though, is that the 4th, they will have 4 for week 1. It's just that I predict that it'll be a claim. I have no idea who it is. I don't know what they're doing there. They're losing bodies, and
it's tough.
Yeah, it's not ideal for them.
It has been tough for the inside linebackers room for sure. Okay, so outside linebacker, I do not have Randy Ramsey making the team. I have 4.
Ooh.
Similarly, at cornerback, I do not have Shandon Sullivan making the team, so I have 6 there. Everything else. And then on safety, I have Ibrahim Campbell making the team, just because they've known what his situation is. If they didn't want the guy, they wouldn't bring him on.
Well, the question with him, he's on PUP, so is he ready to go? I guess in the first 2 to 3 weeks, or is he a guy that you give the full 6 weeks, maybe more, but probably closer to 6? And then give that 21-day window to see if he can return then. That'll be interesting. I do agree that at some point 35 is going to be on the 53 at some point this season. Initial 53, not sure.
35?
Ibrahim Campbell.
He's 39. Oh, he was 39 last season.
Yeah, he's 35.
He's 35 now, right?
That's right.
I think he was 39 last season.
Shannon Sullivan now 39.
Thank you. Okay, so yes. Again, just to continue on this conversation very quickly, as I said, he had his surgery here. He's been seen by the doctors here throughout the summer, even when he was still technically a free agent. They know where his progress is. I'm sure they have a good idea of when he's coming back, even if they don't tell us. So to me, if he's still here, I think he'll be on the roster. So that's my reasoning. And then I'm also sticking with just Mason Crosby at kicker. Even though I think it would be very fun for the Packers to be a little bit petty and keep 2 kickers just to spite the Bears, and honestly, the Vikings too.
You're right. You're absolutely right. We've all talked about the Bears, rightfully so, in their kicking woes, but the Vikings are not far behind.
All right, so can we just check my math here to make sure we're good?
I think you're at 52.
I'm at 52?
Yeah, all right. So one more, one less. That evens out. One less, one more. That evens out. But one less at running back.
Oh, no, and Shepard. I added
One more. Nah, that's late. I can't count anyway. Yep, you're good.
All right, so this is my 53. I think, yes, the biggest questions I have and the biggest uncertainties I have is at wide receiver and at running back. I think carrying an extra running back is interesting just because they have that history of injuries there. And I mean, they're pretty deep even without Shepard right there. But again, injuries happen. They could happen anywhere, and we could be so wrong.
Yeah, so like I said, my biggest insecurities on my 53 are running back and then inside linebacker. Inside linebacker, it's very simple. I have no idea what the heck they're doing there. The injuries have really kind of thrown that position out of whack, and my guess would be they're claiming a veteran if someone is out. I really don't know. That's a guess at this point. Running back, I mean, you don't feel good about putting two guys on the 53 who both have a good chance, a quite good chance of getting through the practice squad, and both Trey Carson and Dexter Williams have a good chance of getting through the practice squad. You hit it on the injuries to Aaron Jones, the durability concerns maybe. Jamal Williams, too, with missing almost half a camp. Yeah, it's just, five is a lot. There's no question, especially when two of those guys might be more practice squad material right now. But that's those guys are different, too. I mean, Dexter Williams is a more talented runner. Trey Carson is more dependable in the passing game as a blocker and as a receiver, frankly. So they bring different things to the table.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I mean, I feel okay about this. But again, like, Brian Gutekunst has a whole staff of people, of scouts that have been doing this for a very long time. They have more intel. They've seen the quarterbacks in practices than, we haven't seen the past couple of weeks. So, listen, we're not perfect. What do you disagree on? Let's see what some of you have to say. I'm sorry, I've ignored the comments. Let's see what we got. It's been a little quiet. Wow, we've really dropped off on our viewership, so we'll wrap this up very soon. Let's see what we got. Diego wants to know, Trey Matthews, where is he? He had a couple good games. Is that enough? Is for a guy to have a couple good games good enough for him to stake his claim on the roster?
I think he showed tonight that he'd be a practice squad guy. He played some special teams, has some decent snaps. I'd go potentially practice squad with him.
Did you put him on your practice squad?
Honestly, I haven't gone through my practice squad yet.
Oh, I did. But, I feel like
that is you, overachiever.
I am, but I feel like like I said, if you go to PackersNews.com and do the roster builder, you can put guys on practice squad. So that is what I did. It's tough, though, to anticipate, like, is this guy someone that could sneak through the cracks and won't get picked up by another team? And will the Packers have the ability to put him on the practice squad? That's a whole other layer of trying to navigate that. And I look at my practice squad. I'm like, is my practice squad too good? Are some of these guys going to get picked up?
The thing to always keep in mind is that every team usually feels that way about their guys, and they like to keep their guys. So, I mean, it could be scary putting an Allen Lazard through practice squad, but receiver is such a deep position in this league, and so many teams feel good about their receivers, feel like they have more than 5 or 6, and it just usually works out that those guys don't get claimed more often than not.
All right, so interesting, something to keep in mind. All right, let's see what we got. Here comes some good questions. See, they were attentively listening as we were going through the 53, and now we've got some questions here. Mike agrees injuries of backups have the Packers in a bit of predicament, and inside linebacker is just a mess. Tao wants to know what our predictions are for the 2019 season record. Man, more predictions. Oof.
Honestly, I mean, I haven't gone through. I could see anywhere from, like, awful to great. Like, I could see 6 wins. I could see 12. I've said this before a few times. Since I've been on the beat going back to 14, I don't feel like I've ever felt like there's been this much of a variance in terms of what they could do in a season. Like, it could go really, really well, and it could go really, really bad, and I have no idea. I think it's going to be a fascinating season. There's so many unknowns from that standpoint. I mean, I get as a fan, you want to go into a season feeling like, yeah, they're going 13-3, all right, but that's not the feeling right now. There's a lot of uncertainty, but it will make it interesting.
Yes, that's why I'm looking forward to this season, because it really could be very lukewarm.
Very wide variance.
It could be not great at all, or they could be very good. There is just, who knows? I think there's so many variables up in the air. So Hannah is very nice. She mostly agrees with our projections here. She says the only thing she disagrees with is that she would completely drop DeShone Kizer, move on from him, and put her faith in backup quarterback Tim Boyle. To me, I don't know. Boyle has proven himself in these preseason games, but he has not proven himself in any regular season games yet. Who knows? It might get to that point this season, but based off of what we've said, perhaps he would be the second backup or the backup to Aaron Rodgers. So I think he still needs a little bit more of the training wheels on him as we approach this upcoming season. And I think they have the room to make it work to carry 3 quarterbacks again.
I think if it were me, Hannah, I might do the same, especially with Manny Wilkins showed tonight. He's a pretty athletic dude. That hurdle was something that I would never be able to do. So
okay.
There's many things.
It's a low bar.
It is, first of all, but that was athletic, obviously. Even for like an NFL level of athlete, that was awfully athletic. And I even went up to him after the game. I was like, hey, I had the audacity of suggesting that was a little bit Lamar Jackson. I mean, that was the first thing that came to my mind. That was a Lamar Jackson play. And he's like, nah, bro, that's Manny. And apparently he did that like 15 times in college. I didn't watch much Arizona State, so my apologies. But apparently that's not like a one-off for him. Like, that's kind of his thing. So what does DeShone Kizer have as an advantage over Tim Boyle? Obviously, athleticism. But they have another really athletic quarterback that they can, I think, very easily get on practice squad. And so you go with Tim Boyle as the number 2, better arm, a little erratic, but, I mean, really NFL arm, and have a Manny Wilkins on practice squad to develop. Makes sense to me, but I just think that the Packers, this 53, it's not what we would do. It's a projection of what we think they will do. I think they have too much invested in him for them to walk away at this point.
Now, this is a little premature, but looking ahead to not this upcoming season, but the following season, is that the point where you say, okay, they need to find a solid backup, or one of these guys needs to evolve into that solid backup, and they cannot use another roster spot on a third quarterback?
No, I mean, it's this. They need a solid backup now. They need a solid backup right now. They have a 35-year-old turning 36-year-old quarterback, QB1 in December, and they need a solid backup now. So whoever that QB2 is, they need him to be solid. There's no hands if or but. They need a solid plan of backup now.
All right. Well, is that guy? I bet, but that guy's on the roster, right?
They sure hope so.
Okay, well, all right, interesting. Okay, a little pregnant pause there. Okay, let's see what we got. Mike is not happy that we have the Packers using 2 roster spots on Boyle and Kizer. I think they're going to play it safe. Eric is...
It is safe, too. Like, I don't know. I mean, again, it's not what I would do. It's what I think they would do. It is a safe move, but... I mean, if you have 2 backup quarterbacks, do you really have none? I mean, it's almost one of those type of things, and that might be the case. I think it's a huge question mark at that position.
Here's the thing. I don't see Kaiser getting cut from this team. And because I don't see him getting cut, and I think Boyle has outperformed him this preseason, I don't see Boyle getting cut. So I don't think either of them are going to get cut.
Good sound.
Yeah, thank you. We'll take one more question because I think we've been doing this for a while.
I'm literally falling asleep on
yeah, me too.
Video
I feel like we need... Mike says they don't have a solid backup, so that might be that. That's it. There you go. Let's see. Which younger player has the highest upside to make an impact on the team this season? From Ray. Rookie. Darnell Savage Jr., comes to mind. I think that's the easiest one to go with just because he's a starter. And he's going to have to make an impact on the team because that's going to be his job. It's his responsibility to make an impact on the team right away.
Rookie with the highest potential to make an impact right away. Well, obviously, Darnell Savage is a pretty safe answer. How about Elton Jenkins? He could play. He could end up playing a lot of snaps, and if he's as good as they hope as a second-round pick, it could really complete that offensive line. Who knows? The other thing too is this: injuries are going to happen. It's the norm in this game. They're probably going to happen on the offensive line, and it's, I think, ideal. It's nice for them to have a guy like an Elton Jenkins to fall back on. He's not the starter now. Lane Taylor announced the starter, but to fall back on, it gives them versatility and flexibility even to move a Billy Turner out to right tackle if that happened. I thought you were giving that to me.
Nope.
So from an impactful standpoint, having a highly drafted interior backup like an Elton Jenkins is a good thing to have for a team.
All right, so there's your answer, Ray. All right, guys, I am disgusted to inform you that we've been going for 40 minutes right now. Woo. So the delirium, the delirium has officially set in, but it's been so much fun. I hope you enjoyed this. Listen, guys, this is going to be a crazy 48 hours plus, because then after that, it's going to be Practice Squad Palooza. I'm coining that term.
Is that new?
Yes, Practice Squad Palooza on Sunday. Oh, boy.
Nice.
So make sure you're checking out PackersNews.com because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, a lot of news coming out. We're just going to be all over the place. It's going to be a lot of fun. But it is also a very serious time for these guys. I know we make a lot of jokes here, and it's very easy for us to just throw up a bunch of numbers on a whiteboard. But at the end of the day, this is their livelihoods, and a lot of careers will be altered over the next couple of days. So just keep that in mind before you tweet stuff and, do all that good stuff, because there are real people who are affected by these things. So anyway, Ryan, any final words?
I'm not sleeping till a week from tomorrow.
Okay.
Hey, you're right. It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be a great week. Guys, we're 1 week away from week 1. Bears, Packers, Soldier Field. We'll be there. It's good. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm ready. I'm ready for the season to start. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
There is something about an NFL opener. I've only experienced it once. 14 when my first game I ever covered of the Packers, my first year on the beat. They opened the season in Seattle, and there is something about an NFL opener that is special. Now the difference being the Bears didn't just win the Super Bowl 14. The Seahawks were defending champions, so you saw the Super Bowl banner unveiled and all that. But there is an electricity in the stadium for a week 1, and it not just a week 1, but an opener. That the first game, you're the only team playing. It'll be an event.
All right, guys, that is going to do it for us tonight, guys. We love this. If you're still awake, you're insane, but we appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and we will see you very soon.